So before we get started, check out the following links in the description box below as highlighted in the image shown. So you'll be able to get our past papers, our link to our official website, link to accreditations, our link to donation page, and contact details in the description. So once you'll be watching a certain video of any lesson or of any past paper, you'll be able to get all these links, and you can be able to get to download past papers, to reach to our official website. You'll be able to see links to our accreditations so that you can see which authorities have accredited us. You'll be able to reach to our donation page as well as our contact details.
Hello and welcome back. Still on ATD Principles of Economics, December 2023. And we are now going to question number 7. Part A, it reads, outline 4 components of the balance of payment accounts. Outline 4 components of the balance of payment accounts. Now let's read the answers. Let's define what balance of payment is first. And we say, the balance of payment is a comprehensive record of a country's economic transactions with the rest of the world over a specific period, typically a year. It is divided into several components that track different types of financial flows. So it is a comprehensive record of a country's economic transactions. And these transactions are done with the rest of the world over a period of 1 year usually. And here are the components. Component number 1 is the current account, which is made up of the trade balance, the services, and the income, and current transfers. And then another component is the capital account, which is made up of capital transfers and acquisition or disposal of non-produced assets. Another component is financial account, which consists of direct investment, portfolio investment, financial derivatives, and other investments. Another component is official reserves account. Then there's error and omissions. And the last component that we have is overall balance. So let's read through them really fast. And it says the current account. Under the current account we have the trade balance, which measures the difference between the values of exports and imports. This is the difference between the imports and exports. And then there's the services under the current account, which include transactions related to services such as tourism, transportation, financial services, and insurance. This reflects the net value of service exports minus service imports. And then we have income. Covers income earned from foreign investments such as dividends and interest, and compensation of employees working abroad. It includes both primary income and secondary income. That is the current account. And then we have the current transfer under current account. And it says it involves one-way transfers of funds such as foreign aid, grants, and remittances sent by individuals working abroad to their home country. These are transfers without a corresponding economic exchange. Another component of the balance of payment is the capital account. And under capital transfers, it says it includes transfers of capital such as debt forgiveness, investment grants, and other transfers related to capital assets. And another factor under capital component, capital account component, is acquisition or disposal of non-produced assets, which deals with transactions involving non-produced assets like patent, copyrights, trademark, and leases. And then we have the financial account as another as the third component of the balance of payment, and it includes the direct investments, which records investment where a resident of one country obtains a lasting interest in a business in another country. And then another is the portfolio investments, which includes investment in financial assets such as stock, bonds, and other securities. It reflects short-term and long-term capital flows that do not grant significant control or influence over the issuer. Another factor under the financial account is financial derivatives. This records transactions involving financial derivatives such as options and futures, as well as financial instruments not classified under direct or portfolio investments. And then there are other investments under financial accounts, which cover transactions related to loans, trade credits, currency deposits, and other types of financial instruments not included in direct or portfolio investments. Then component number 4 is official reserves account, which records changes in a country's official reserves, which include foreign exchange reserve, gold, and other reserve assets held by the central bank. And then errors and omission accounts for discrepancies and statistical errors in the balance of payments data. That is what errors and omission components does under the balance of payment. This component ensures that the balance of payment accounts balance, as discrepancies often arise due to incomplete or inaccurate data. So the balance of payment must balance. There should be no errors. And then there's the overall balance as the last component that we have here. The sum of the current account, capital account, and financial account adjusted for errors and omission is what we call the overall balance. It indicates whether a country has a surplus or deficit in its overall balance. Part B, it reads, highlight 5 reasons why the liquidity money curve is positively sloped. Why the LM curve is positively sloped. Is positively sloped. That's how a positive slope looks like. The LM curve is positively sloping. It's upward sloping. So why is that? Let's first define what the liquidity money curve is. And it says the liquidity money curve represents the relationship between the interest rate and the level of real money balances that equate the money supply with the money demand in an economy. So under the LM curve, MD, money demand, equals to money supply, and it is positively sloping. And why is that? Here are the reasons that I prepared. Reason number 1 is increased income raises demand for money. How? As the level of national income or output increases, individuals and businesses require more money for transactions. Higher income means more spending, which raises the demand for money at any given interest rate. To maintain equilibrium in the money market, the interest rate must be raised to balance the increased demand for money with the existing money supply. The increased income raises demand for money. That is why it's positively sloping. When you increase the interest rate, then the money supply, then the demand is also increased. And then the transaction motive is another reason why the LM curve is positively sloping. And what does that say? According to the transaction motive for holding money, as economic activity expands and income increases, people need more money for transactions. This increased demand for money shifts the money demand curve to the right. To maintain equilibrium in the money market, the interest rate must rise, resulting in an upward LM curve slope. Another reason is interest rate adjustment mechanism. The liquidity money curve reflects how changes in income affect the demand for money, which in turn influences the interest rate. When income rises, the demand for money increases, and if the money supply is fixed, the increased demand for money leads to higher interest rates. Consequently, the liquidity money curve slopes upwards, showing the positive relationship between income and interest rates. So basically here the LM curve deals with the income and interest rates. An increase in one leads to an increase in the other. Money supply and demand dynamics is another reason why the LM curve is upward sloping. And the last reason that we have is the liquidity preference theory, and it says, according to the liquidity preference theory, people hold demand for transactions, precautionary and speculative motives. As income increases, the transaction and precautionary motives for holding money rise, increasing the demand for the money. Since the money supply is assumed to be constant in the short run, this increased demand for money results in a higher rate of interest, leading to a positive sloping LM curve. Now we go to part C, and it reads, explain 5 methods that may be used to promote exports in developing countries. How are developing countries likely to promote their exports, their businesses to other countries? How? Let's see how. And they can promote their exports through trade policy and agreements. And it says, developing countries can negotiate trade agreements and participate in regional trade blocs to gain better access to international markets. So they negotiate trade agreements and participate in regional trade blocs to gain better access to international market. Another method that they use is export credit and financing. Providing export credit and financing options can help businesses manage the financial risk associated with international trade. Another method is infrastructure development. That is, they develop their infrastructures. They build better roads, railways, ports, and more of that. Another method is they promote and market their exports or their businesses to the international markets. Another method that they promote their export is capacity building and training. Training and capacity building programs can enhance the skills and knowledge of entrepreneurs and exporters. That is, they teach the entrepreneurs about export knowledge. Another method of promoting exports is improving product quality and standards. Ensuring that products meet international quality standards and certifications can make them more competitive in global markets. So improving the quality and standards of their goods and services. This is the quality of their goods and services. They improve their quality. And export processing zones and special economic zones is another method. Establishing EPZs and special economic zones can create favorable conditions for exporters by providing tax incentives, streamlined regulations, and infrastructure support. Another method is research and development. and what the international markets need or demand, and produce those products that the international markets require. And then another method is trade facilitation and simplification. Reducing rules and regulations. Reducing rules and regulations on exports. That is trade facilitation and simplification. Another method is developing economic competitiveness, and this is by encouraging industries to adopt best practices, improve productivity, and focus on cost reduction. Another method is government incentives and support. Government can offer incentives and support programs to boost export activities. This can include tax reduction, subsidies, and grants for exporters, as well as providing legal and logistical support. That is part C, the method that may be used by exports to promote exports in developing countries. Our last part in the question is part D, and it reads, using a diagram, describe the circular flow of income of a closed economy with government intervention. Using a diagram, describe the circular flow of income. I didn't draw that, but I downloaded it from somewhere. I'm going to show you how. And here is the diagram. Ignore the rest of the world. Ignore this. And the financial market should also be ignored. We're just required to talk about the household, the farms, and the economy. This is the open market. Open economy. The open economy includes the rest of the world and the financial markets. And the closed economy is just this, with the government intervention. So, how is this done? It says the households receive income from farms in the form of wages, rent, interest, and profits. So the households receive this from the farm, like this. They receive wages, interest rate, and transfers from the farm, and the households still spend a portion of their income on the goods and services produced by the farm, and they spend this on goods and services that the farm has produced, and then they can also pay taxes to the government. That was about the households. There's the income, the consumption, and the taxes. So the income is from the farms, and the consumption is by the households, and then they pay taxes to the government, still the households. And then there's the farms. Now let's look at what the farms do. There's production. Farms produce goods and services that households purchase. So the farms, they produce goods. There's production of the goods and services. And then they pay wages and salaries for their labor to the households. And then farms also pay taxes to to the government based on their profits. So they pay taxes to the government. That is what is done here, or that is what is happening here. And then now we talk about the government, and the government collects tax from both the households and the farms. So they collect taxes here and here from both the households and the farms, and also the government uses the tax revenues to provide public goods and services such as infrastructure, education, and health care. Yes, that is what the government does with the taxes received from both the farms and the households. So that was how the circular flow of income of a closed economy with government intervention goes by. Thank you. That is the end of our past paper, December 2023, and we have solved all the questions. So see you later.
So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions, and also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session.